over time, he has become one of the benchmarks for quality on TV, I think, along with people like Julie Waters and Mark Warren. If you see his name, you think, oh, this is going to be good. So it is tonight, returning for the second series of Kidnap and Ransom on ITV1, the always watchable Trevor Eve. Thanks for doing this, Trevor.
It's a pleasure. How are you?
Yeah, we're lovely. You always seem to me to invest real passion into your work, real emotion. But Kidnap and Ransom's doubly so because it's your production company that makes it, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So if there's anyone to blame, it's me. Yeah, I'm kind of all or nothing, really. That's the way I am.
So was it your baby, this? Did you come up with the whole concept?
Yeah, the development team that I work with came up with the idea, and we did a series last year. And this year we came up with a story set in Kashmir, and we got the writer and did everything, you know. So, yes, I got a lot invested in it, so I hope everybody watches it and enjoys it.
I'm guessing that your name, and it's a heritage now of some 38 years since playing Paul McCartney on stage, I'm guessing that it opens doors. But what are the struggles to get in something... Or closes them, yeah. But what are the struggles in getting something like this to fruition?
Well, you've got to get the right people together, and you've got to convince the powers that be that it's something that that they will want. It's the whole process is enjoyable. I don't think in any way. Yeah, I love that struggle. I mean, I think everybody struggles in their own work wherever it is, and the rewards that come from it are you know, it's great when you get there.
And Dominic King is a hostage negotiator. Now, for most of us, kidnapping, mercifully, is far removed from our lives. But it's actually the fastest growing crime in the world, isn't it?
It certainly is. I've met 5 negotiators in this country, modelled myself on... I picked one guy. They were all ex-military, ex-SAS. Very cool, calm, collected guys under pressure, and they'd been used to frontline action and couldn't really adapt to civilian life, so they went back to this, and they kept pretty busy. There aren't that many negotiators throughout the world, and as you say, it's the fastest escalating crime, and Somalia alone, I think, keeps them pretty busy. Well,
you opened tonight in Kashmir, as you said, but there are lots of kidnaps, inter-gang kidnaps in particular, in the UK that we just don't hear about.
I know. Well, the whole concept of rewarding kidnappers for their crimes, which essentially is what negotiators do, which is why there's a sort of dubious morality about them, but because they give money to the kidnappers in return for the hostages, but you know, which supposedly continues the process of that crime. But if your loved ones got kidnapped, would you want someone to negotiate for their freedom or not? I think everybody would. Well, I certainly would.
And who pays them? Is it governments that pay them?
Well, that's what... no, it's not. And certainly this country, why it will not negotiate with kidnappers is because it doesn't want the crime to become... to continue. So they actually refuse in this country. But in Italy and other countries, they do allow that payment to go out. And it is funded... I don't know whether from government or private sources.
And that's how the negotiators make their money, is it, from those private sources? They're paid through them?
Exactly that. By the day.
So
daily rate.
So is it minimum wage? I don't know. And you would authenticate the stories, would you, through these guys that you spoke to?
Yes, exactly that. Our guy, we, pass the germ of the idea to him initially and build up through that. So everything that, all the events and the protocol is all authenticated by him, yeah.
And they're mainly men. The ones you spoke to are all men. Helen...
No, there's one. I have met one woman negotiator who I think did the best line ever when she walked into the office, which was, "I'm sorry, I've got to keep this phone on. I'm expecting a call from the Somali pirates."
How can you top that?
And you can't. I mean, that was the end of the meeting. I just looked at everyone, just stared at the phone, waiting for them to call, you know.
They'd have several phones, I'm guessing, wouldn't they?
Well, they have one, the domestic phone, then they have one to their office, and they have a situation phone, as they call it, which is always just an open line to the kidnapper, and that's why they end up walking around with 3 phones, as you see in the show.
You must have, and Dominic has, your character, there is this kind of addiction to drama and adrenaline, isn't there? That's the thing.
Yeah, I think you'd probably say they're adrenaline junkies, yeah.
And how much of your life does this take? You would work on this series for how long?
18 months.
Really?
From the idea through the writing process, and and then the post-production, the editing, the music, grading. Yeah, I love it though. You see, I just love it.
Did you always intend to when you started out? Did you think one day I would like to do everything rather than just act? I'd like to be across it all.
You make me sound like a control freak here. No,
That'll be my next question, Trevor.
I had an accident in 1995, and I fractured my spine, and there was a question as to whether I'd walk again. So I then had to think, gosh, if I can't, walk across the boards on stage, what am I going to do? So I kind of went through the process of thinking, well, I could get into production, and fortunately I recovered and was able to walk, and then carried on this idea.
And you can't do this programme, you can't do Kidnap and Ransom on a tight budget, can you? A busload of tourists in Kashmir doesn't come cheap, does it?
Well, we shot it in South Africa. We couldn't shoot in Kashmir. The story originated in Kashmir. We couldn't shoot there for economic and security reasons. It's just not viable. It's a very volatile place. So we used South Africa, which I think does pretty well with a wonderful production design team. We've kind of made it look like Kashmir. But you spend a bit of money, yeah. It's not cheap.
And the previous series was filmic. I thought it had cinematic qualities to it.
Oh, thank you.
That's what you're aiming for, is it? Because
yes, and I think we've done a lot better on this one. You learn as you go along, and I think I'm really proud of this one. And if we were fortunate enough to have the opportunity to do another one, I would learn again and hopefully make that better.
That's down to us, isn't it? That's down to viewers.
Yeah,
watching.
It is.
So
it certainly is. Power of the people. So I hope they watch it and enjoy it.
So do you get nervous? Tomorrow, will you look at the overnight figures, or are you not bothered about that kind of thing at that stage?
I'm petrified.
Are you?
Yeah, so much more so than if you're just an actor in something, because I love it and I want to make it again. So it does depend on the people.
And next, Waking the Dead is never coming back, is it?
I don't think it is, no. It's a shame. I loved Waking the Dead. I really loved working with the people. But, we did 9 series, and I guess things are finite. They have an end. So I think people still liked it when it finished, which is always a good thing, rather than people saying, oh, God, that thing's on. Yes. And it would just disappear. So.
And any stage work on the horizon?
Well, there's always that possibility. Yeah, always. I always keep options open,
And working with your daughter?
Yes, I've just been out to see my daughter, who's working in the United States at the moment. I miss her.
When you go over there, are the standards now of TV work, and you think of something like ER and Mad Men, which have fantastic standards, are ours now comparable with theirs? Something like your programme will be the same?
Well, I think what this country has to offer is phenomenal, both in the technical and side and the acting side. And I think, there are so many successful shows, like Downton has taken the US by storm. I think we have high-quality drama. Yeah. One
example is tonight on ITV1. Kidnap and Ransom returns for Series 2 at 9 o'clock, and the trails look absolutely fantastic. Can't wait, Trevor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.